Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Thursday, the 28th of August 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. We're going to have to go over some of these posts from CSW. Some of them are absolutely fantastic. So that's pretty much what the whole show is going to be on today. I mean, I just can't keep up with the amount of stuff that he's putting out. It's phenomenal. We'll just have a touch on a few other bits and pieces that people have mentioned here. Here we go. Yeah, from Nick Simon as well. That's pretty good. We'll go over some of the figures. Look, it's more profitable to mine on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. When have we ever seen this? And yet I've been following this. This figure has been changing over the last few days. Slowly, we know who likes that. We'll have a quick look at the figures. Got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we'll finish with the Kellenschweller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right, I can't remember if I've already read this out already, or whether or not I've just been reading it and sent it to other people. But I can't remember reading it out. Maybe I'm going mental. But anyway, so let's go through this. So this was actually in reply to Babbage saying when Project Babbage, the guys, I feel sick, and he was going on about Roy Murphy's supposedly galaxy creation, but he's just described it as vaporware. That's literally all it is, you know. So interesting that. But in response to that, because I know I've been over that one, CSW's response was on the 24th of August. So it's 4 days ago. He has said here, yes, Terranode has taken longer than it should have. But I mean, again, you know, when he's saying taken longer than it should have, I mean, you had the likes of Shatters and Christian Ager Hansen and like all the saboteurs, you know, in N-Chain trying to derail the project. And I mean, no wonder it's been delayed. But when he says yes, Terranode has taken longer than it should have, so it's taken longer. But it sounds to me like it is finished. It sounds like it is here. He's saying it's taken longer than it should have, past tense, but it's here now. That's what it sounds like. This is massively exciting. Interesting, he spelt it with 2 R's, Terranode. It's taken longer than it should have. Longer than I wanted it to. The roots stretch back to 2012 when the first outlines were drawn and the first obstacles revealed themselves. By 2014, it had evolved into iDemon, and from there into a chain of prototypes and experiments, each step confronting problems no one else was even willing to imagine, until finally the framework we now call Terranode emerged. And yes, it has been years, 5, 6 more than I predicted, 4 more than I thought it would take, because the work is hard, not difficult in the sense that it requires time and tinkering, but hard in the way stone resists the chisel and steel resists the hammer. Scaling at this level is a frontier of engineering, not a slogan to be printed on a t-shirt. Those who dismiss the delays as failure have never stood in the arena of actual creation. This is why I insist the code be opened, exposed, pushed into daylight. If it can be attacked, let it be attacked. That is the only way to prove its strength. Anything that cannot survive scrutiny is already dead. And that is precisely why the Terranode repository had to exist, why it had to face the fire of criticism, and why it had to endure. For this reason, I hold enormous respect for the team, not just the current builders who have carried this project with resilience, but also the engineers who have laid the groundwork years ago back in Australia, when the idea of a global scale Bitcoin seemed delusional to most. The present Terranode team are remarkable. Wow, I mean, that is huge coming from somebody like Aspergis, calling the Terranode team are remarkable. You don't get many praising comments like that from somebody on the Asperger scale who's kind of like above everybody else. But he said, look, the present Terranode team are remarkable. That is a huge testament. A huge testament to how good the boys at the Terrano team really are. That is massive. Makes my heart sing that CSW would praise them like that. I mean, that really says something. He said, what they've achieved is remarkable, and no matter how long it has taken, the result is something more than vapor, more than promises. It is substance, and it was earned the only way that matters, through sweat, failure, persistence, and the refusal to quit. And he's even tagged Ziggy in that. Like, honestly, that is huge. Years ago, I don't think that CSW would give praise like that. I don't think he was capable of it. It would be like an indirect way of giving praise, like, like with some negative words in there, but actually sort of like it's meant to be encouragement. But this is direct. He said, look, the Terrano team are remarkable. That is just absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah. Chuffed to bits with that. I think I might have read that before. Some bits in there are familiar, but well worth a read again. Just to go over and remind yourselves of just what the team have been up to. For CSW, I mean, we've seen the amount of work that he produces, and even he's saying the Terrano team is remarkable, and it has taken longer than he thought. But they produce substance. This isn't just vaporware. Maybe that's a dig at Roy Murphy, who knows. It probably is actually. It isn't vapor, because it was Babbage here that said Roy's just created vaporware, really. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, that was just brilliant. What a fantastic read that was. And let's go on to the rest of his profile here. I mean, this is huge. It's huge. Check this out. In response to Willy Woo saying BTC needs to get to a medium of exchange to be unruggable. I mean, what a douchebag. Yeah, Bitcoin was meant to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So CSW said, BTC needs to get to a medium of exchange. Christ, the comedy writes itself. How do they think that happens? By bottling transactions into Lightning's fragile house of cards? By pretending 5 transactions a second is some kind of world-shaping miracle? That's not that's not money of exchange. That's that's a parlor trick. A system choking on its own artificial scarcity. Doesn't scale to global commerce. It doesn't scale to coffee, to payroll, to retail, to IoT. It scales to nothing but memes and speculation. Money of exchange means raw throughput. It means millions, billions of transactions every second. Running clean, simple, direct. Not lightning spaghetti. Not taproot fairy dust. And actual scaling. That's the line in the sand. Without it, you've got a bottle cap collection, not digital cash. Spot on. It's so obvious when he spells it out. And here's the punchline. Real Bitcoin already does it. Try using the word genuine, mate. It's better. So genuine Bitcoin already does it. Genuine Bitcoin scales. Genuine Bitcoin was designed to scale. It's peer-to-peer because you can actually transact directly as cash. No clunkages, no middlemen, no excuses. You want a medium of exchange? Stop worshipping the crippled imitation. The original system is already here, scaled, working, and built for the purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he spells it out so well. Imagine the level of intellectual bankruptcy it takes to sneer at scaling by saying that's not privacy, it's just numbers. And then, with the straight face of a court jester who thinks he's a king, turn around and worship at the altar of cryptography. What the hell do you think cryptography is? Fairy dust, divine revelation? No, it's fucking numbers. Every last line of it. Privacy in digital systems is nothing but hiding in a swamp of probabilities, a forest of calculations, a desert of digits so vast no one can map it. Scaling isn't the enemy of privacy, it's the precondition. Without scaling, you're trapped in a broom closet of 7 pathetic transactions per second, where everything is lit up like a lantern, shown and every move can be tracked. With scaling, you've got millions, billions, trillions of little slips, digital banknotes, each under $50, flying around faster than anyone can pin them down. Privacy doesn't come from pretending there's some magic cryptographic incarnation that saves you. Privacy comes from drowning the observer in so much data, so many numbers, so many possibilities, that the cost of tracing you exceeds the value of everything. Oof, the cabal aren't going to like that at all. And here's the exquisite irony. The same crowd that chants cryptography like it's scripture never pauses to realise the ECDSA, that's elliptic curve digital something, is nothing but playing hide and seek with enormous integers. SHA-256, numbers, keys, numbers, signatures, numbers dressed up as proof. The whole damn cathedral of cryptographic privacy is built out of numbers. Numbers arranged in ways that make guessing them statistically impossible, and yet when scaling produces privacy through the exact same principles, through the arithmetic fact that in an ocean of countless small transactions you can't see who's doing what, they bulk and call it noise, as though noise weren't the very essence of the cryptographic disguise they fetishized. The comedy is brutal and beautiful. To reject scaling is not privacy because it's just numbers is to reject cryptography itself. The Emperor, exactly, that's what SHA-256 is. It's just huge. The Emperor isn't just naked. He's running around the street shrieking about the sanctity of his clothes while tripping over the fact that his beloved privacy tech is literally indistinguishable in nature from the thing he's mocking. Privacy is numbers. Scaling makes those numbers unimaginable. And any watcher, and if you can't grasp that, then perhaps the opera's over because you've just pulled your trousers down in the middle of the aria and called it a secret audit. Let me spell it out with the high theory, since some of you seem determined to trip over your own shoelaces. Privacy in Bitcoin doesn't mean whispering a secret word and expecting the universe to forget you ever spoke. It's mathematical, pure probability. Every key, every signature, every address is nothing but a giant number. Yeah, again, the chances of finding SHA-256 are just insane. That's the whole point of cryptography. You know, it's just the economics and resources that it would take into cracking it would just take too long, but it can be done. The trick is that the number is so large, so absurdly beyond human comprehension, that the odds of someone guessing it are effectively zero. That's cryptography. That's the holy grail everyone chants about. Now take scaling. What does scaling do? It multiplies the number of transactions endlessly to the point where what you're looking at is no longer a tidy little ledger of 10 neat payments you can draw lines between, but billions of tiny notes flying around. Each transaction a small sum, a one-off key, a single-use slip of digital cash. Try to trace one, fine, but trace millions happening per second, each with fresh addresses, fresh numbers, fresh probabilities stacked against you, and suddenly you're drowning. The cost of tracing it sees the value of the information. That's privacy in practice. So when I say scaling is privacy, I'm not being poetic. I'm describing arithmetic reality. Privacy isn't magic. It's the deliberate construction of a world where the numbers are so numerous, so varied, so fast, that watching becomes impossible. The irony, those who worship cryptographic privacy while sneering at the scaling are worshipping the same mechanism, blind to the fact that their priesthood is built on the very thing they dismiss. Numbers, always numbers. Privacy is nothing else. And if you want it to mean anything in the real world, you'd better have enough of them to bury the watcher alive. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like this was just a classic example of how these shitcoiners don't get it. So this one Bitcoin CA had said here, so your master plan for privacy is basically to spray confetti into a wind tunnel and hope nobody notices the color of your pieces. Cute. Real privacy doesn't come from shattering a payment into noise. It comes from breaking the links themselves. Look, breaking the links themselves. When you break the links themselves, that is central control. You are accountable to nobody. It is anonymous, and those who control the anonymous networks have central control of it. That's the whole point. He said, Bitcoin's boring full nodes don't pretend to hide you in traffic. They give you the power to enforce your own rules. Look, enforcing your own rules. That's called central control when you're enforcing your own rules. Just in the same that Blockstream are doing that with Bitcoin Core now and literally just going ahead with changes against the consensus of the community who don't want it. It's hilarious. Combine with tools like CoinJoin, Taproot and Lightning and achieve actual indistinguishability. Throughput isn't privacy. Unlinkability is. So again, unlinkability is literally where you are accountable to no one. But the only people who are not accountable to anybody are those who control the system. Because they have complete control of it, because they're not accountable to anybody. So this guy talking absolute shite. He'll just be another cabal shill here. Ridiculous. Privacy, like I said, the difference between anonymity and privacy is this. Anonymity is what you would seek if you were in the toilet cubicle. No one knows you're in there, you can do your business, and no one knows what you've done. Privacy is what you and your partner would seek behind the bedroom door. You can engage with each other, you can identify each other, but no third party can see, hear, or interfere. And that's the difference. So anonymous networks are centrally controlled by those who control them. You know, what you need is a private network where everybody is accountable individually to one another and for what they do. That's it. Otherwise, you have a completely controlled network. So this guy, again, either cabal shill or absolute dickhead. You know, either way. CSW said full nodes enforce nothing. They're parasitic spectators, scribbling notes from the sidelines while miners do the one thing that matters, create blocks. Validation without creation is masturbation. Brilliant. That's got to be a quote from Satoshi Nakamoto. Validation without creation is masturbation. Oh, that was 14 hours ago. Yeah, should we have that? Where was it dated? Brilliant. Surely that's got to be a Satoshi Nakamoto quote. Validation without creation is masturbation. That's going to be the line of the show. Loud, sweaty, and utterly pointless. To pretend these gossip machines enforce rules is the height of delusion. They don't police, they don't punish, they don't decide. They sit there clapping along while the grown-ups actually build the ledger. Calling that privacy or power is like calling a mannequin a soldier because it wears a helmet. Brilliant. Brilliant. Gotta love a little bit of CSW's humour. That is ace. That is ace. I mean, there's so much stuff here. I'd love to go through more. This seems quite funny. He said, imagine thinking Bitcoin owes its existence to Luke Dash Jr., the guy that eats cats. That's like crediting the janitor for keeping Rome from falling because he once swept the Senate floor. The protocol was carved in stone long before this meddling. What survives today isn't thanks to him. It's in spite of him. Absolutely, absolutely. Look. And he said here, Luke Dash Jr., Bitcoin wouldn't exist today multiple times over if I hadn't acted in its defense previously. What's a load of shit? He's talking about Gregcoin. Gregcoin wouldn't exist. You know, conflating it with BTC. Oh my God. That is absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Let's see what he said here. He said, hey, and then listed all these people. I have a thought experiment for you to analyze. I split my $1,000 transaction into 300 fragments, ranging between 10 cents and $5. Dispatched from 80 rotating IPs through VPNs, each part of a fresh key, IP to IP, submitted by the recipient amid millions of concurrent transactions per second. Over an hour of that, those 300 parts are statistically invisible. Each part a separate transactions on a system doing millions of transactions per second. So tell me, how is that any less private than this throughput-starved, traceable core system you maintain? How private is scaling ignorant design when traffic is easily mapped? Heuristics rule and IP layer tricks are a brittle theatre. Why is your idea supposedly better by letting users run full nodes, pretending to be validating their own transactions with predictable, dull byte fees, and not achieving what approaches true anonymity legally by saturation? Explain if you can. Again, they can't. I mean, they're full of absolute shite. Yeah, Mr. Ben just got tumbleweeds there from the BTC crew, from the core parasite crew that even the BTC community don't like. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Dimiv BZ says, let's not forget what actually happened during the Bitcoin Civil War. BTC is actually SegWit 2x. They colluded with exchanges to keep the BTC ticker. Absolutely, and this was in response to Coinbase. This was the 6th of October 2017. Update on the Bitcoin SegWit 2x. And there was a bit that stood out in here. They said, look, after the fork, we will enable access when we have determined each blockchain is secure and stable. We expect this to happen within a few days after the fork, but it may take longer if additional risk emerges. We're currently working on the engineering and security requirements for each Bitcoin blockchain, as well as continuing the work to enable Bitcoin Cash withdrawals. And again, I mean, they're deciding. They're deciding what gets what. And that's what the crypto exchanges did. Oh, we'll decide which chain gets the BTC ticker. Yeah, what happened to this? Actually, it's meant to be decentralized stuff, you know. Check this out. So Orange Gateway said it's a fine day to Bitcoin. In order to expand our reach even further, we've made a Telegram channel that will act as our official direct broadcast channel. We recommend you join and pin the chat to never miss out on important Orange Gateway updates and campaigns. Look at that. That looks great. Loving that. Loving that. That really does look good. Exciting times ahead. And Nick Simon has said here, only Advance UK can save Britain. Only Advance UK is a patriot. Only Advance UK can be trusted with your vote. Reform are an illusion. They are not what they seem. Please join Advance UK for £10. And he's actually tagged me in that. So why I joined Advance UK, a political home for patriots. So again, Nick Simon being an Advance UK supporter, along with a genuine Bitcoin supporter. Loving that. Loving that. Fantastic. And Modern Dukaleon said here, Meta.Ninja is a business. Transparently, a small, nice, ethical business respecting its users and creating a tool to connect and monetize creators posting on chain, bringing their apps embedded in line to connect directly to other users. Yeah, I do actually quite like the look of Meta Ninja. It looks good. Might have to get involved in that some more. Hasn't tagged me in that one though. That's all right. Let's have a quick look at the figures. Look at this. So it's currently 41,499 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gridcoin, but it's 9.4% more profitable to mine on genuine Bitcoin. We haven't seen that for years. Years and years and years. And imagine, it's more profitable to mine on genuine Bitcoin, and the prices are at historic lows. Historic lows. Can you imagine having a historic low price and yet it's more profitable to mine on it? That is absolutely hilarious. The price has only got to move a little bit before miners are just like, that's interesting. You know, getting more money over there. Literally just slowly, you know, just dangling the carrot, lowering it lower and lower and lower before they start chomping at it and wanting to bite, especially when profitability goes up. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Let's have a look at the mining on Bitcoin. Look at this. So we've got Kuv 26.1, but Tal 18.66, and then Tal Terranode 17.16. QD Link down in 4th now, I guess. SA 113 in 5th. Gorilla Pool 6.72. Mining Dutch getting a look in at 2.2. Interesting. Right, let's get into some 365 days of Bitcoin history. We're close, 28th. Don't think we did this yesterday, did we? 27th. 27th of August. So SweetMinds now accepts Bitcoin. That was the email 232 of the Marty Malmi emails. On the 27th of August 2010, Craig Wright as Satoshi Nakamoto famously wrote, Bitcoins have no dividend or potential future dividend, therefore not like a stock, more like a collectible or a commodity. I think here we go. See if we can find this here. Maybe we'll get an initial value circulatory as you've suggested. My people foresee its potential usefulness for exchange. I would definitely want some. Maybe collectors and any random reason could spark it. I think the traditional qualifications for money were written with the assumption that there are so many competing objects in the world that are scarce. An object with the automatic bootstrap of intrinsic value would surely win out over those without intrinsic value. But if there were nothing in the world with intrinsic value that could be used as money, only scarce, not intrinsic value, I think people would still take up something. I'm using the word scarce here to only mean a limited potential supply. Is that there somewhere? On the 28th of August 1937, Winston Churchill receives a letter from Dr. Heinrich Brüning. the ousted German Chancellor, confirming that Hitler and his Nazi party had been financed by two of the largest Jewish-owned Berlin banks since October 1928. They've been financed since 1928, so that was the year before they started the Great Depression. Started to fund Hitler. That's outrageous. And then they're saying that Hitler, was trying to exterminate all the Jews, and yet they've been financed by two of the largest Jewish-owned banks. Like, what? Is that not a little bit hypocrisy? Or, we've been lied to. 28th of August 2014, Harold Thomas Finney. So unfortunately, this is when he passed away, on the 28th of August 2014. Hal Finney, R.I.P. So that was 11 years ago. 11 years ago he passed away. Jeepers. And then we're on to the 29th of August. Wow, amazing. Alright, here we go. We're back on the Kellenschweller countdown. That's a 26-minute show. It is the 28th of August, meaning we've got 21 days left of the Kellenschweller countdown. So please remember to like, subscribe. You're not going to want to miss all the shenanigans that happen between now and the end of this countdown. It's going to be absolutely epic. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.